Skipped and cut content is the bane of any fan's existence when it comes to seeing their favorite series adapted into a live-action movie, TV show, cartoon, or even anime. Because typically when it comes to cut content or skipped content, it can be minor details that relatively are not really that important. It just gives a little bit of explanation to maybe a certain character's actions. Or it's cut content to the point to where it changes fundamentally the foundation of the story and kind of future plot points and arcs and what some elements of arcs are going to be focusing on in the future. And so in this case, what I'm talking about today is obviously skipped and cut content of Re:Zero that is causing controversy and drama for the last 15 or 20 or so hours within the Re:Zero community. Now, I'm going to get into what was cut and skipped and all that and talk about it in a second, but one thing I want to say fundamentally before I go any further is that when an adaptation or when a series is adapted, not everything is going to make the cut. And sometimes this could be a good or a bad thing. It depends on the pacing of the show and what necessarily is cut. Obviously, there is good examples and bad examples of cut content or skipped content. It really just depends on what the main focus is. And so in this case, when you think about what was cut or skipped in Re:Zero, there is some important content, obviously, that has been skipped, but there is one thing in particular that was skipped early on in Season 1 of Re:Zero, aka Season 1, the beginning, that was skipped, that fundamentally has become more and more important as the story has progressed, and it's finally at that point to where that cut content, it needs to be adapted, or nobody is going to understand what's going on with certain interactions with characters. And so that is where the drama stems from. So let's get into it. So what you see on screen, this obviously looks like Chibi short form animation. This is something that's very reminiscent of Isekai Quartet. It is something we have seen for a bunch of different, Kadokawa shows. You've seen it for Overlord, you've seen it for Konosuba, you've seen it obviously for Re:Zero, there's a little bit for Tanya. This is a common, adaptation style you see with little short form animations of very popular, Isekai stories. And obviously that's why Isekai Quartet, came into being. Very interesting show, and there was definitely some plot relevance that was very, it gave a lot of details to Re:Zero and other stories that nobody expected when Season 2 came out. But I'm not treading that path. Right now, what I'm talking about is this. This is a short-form animation that's coming out this anime season that not many people are fundamentally aware of at this current time. I haven't been watching it, but I was aware of it, and, usually when I watch these, I watch it because something probably happened within it. And in this case, that's what has happened here. So, giving some background information, this is called Re:Zero Breaktime, and this is multiple episodes in of Breaktime, and these are usually given a little bit more flair or details to certain character interactions that more or less might not have had any focus or attention in the actual adaptation, aka the anime of Season 3. And so this scene here gives a conversation between Al, this character, and also Subaru and Beatrice. And when you see this conversation, it is, let's put it this way, it is crazy that they adapted something so important into a anime short that's of only 2 minutes long that most people are completely unaware of and doesn't even have a actual official translation. And yeah, I want to make sure I state that point, that Re:Zero Breaktime, this that's coming out, does not have an official translation, okay? The translations you see here on screen is actually from, Stride and Ice and his group that works on it and people he knows that, translated and put the subtitles on this Breaktime. This is not officially picked up by any company right now. There is no legal way to watch this unless you live in Japan and understand Japanese. So basically, most fans, a lot of fans of Re:Zero are not going to watch this because it's not picked up officially by any means, and most fan groups probably are not going to really translate this besides the very die-hard fan groups, which aka happen here, and even then, most people are not even going to watch it because they're going to think it's not really important, because the art style is different, it's chibi form, it's 2 minutes, you get the point. So anyways, the details within the short gives revelation to Al and who he is. And at this point in time within the story of Re:Zero, most people are, let's just say, anime-onlys and don't know much about him. They're not going to really have too much of an opinion on Al as a character. The most that people are going to say is that he's cool design with his helmet, the one arm thing he has going on there, to just like his speech pattern of calling Subaru, you know, bro, stuff like that. But when you actually get into this part, he reveals to Subaru that he is someone that is from Subaru's hometown, aka Japan, the planet Earth. He is from the original world that Subaru came from, which is a massive revelation to ReZero. What this basically says is that Subaru is not alone, that there can be other people that have been transported or teleported into the world of ReZero. And Subaru is not the only case in point example. There is others. Okay, for Al to be here, this opens the door up for not just, 2 to 3, dozens, generational of people that potentially is in the land of ReZero. And in this case, when you look at the architecture that, ReZero Season 3 is taking place in, it looks very Kansai and it looks very Japanese style. It's obvious to wonder, oh, yeah, with the style of the architecture and stuff, most likely there was someone from Japan, from the old days of Japan, that came in and put that architecture from ancient Japan into the ReZero world. You get the point. It's like a domino effect, so to speak. So anyways, the reveal, as you can see, it reveals that Al is from Subaru's world, and that, he reveals to Subaru, yeah, have you not caught on? Yeah, we come from the same place, and Subaru's in absolute state of shock and all that, and this reveal obviously comes off as this is the first time it's being mentioned, but this is technically a conversation that happened in Season 1. Subaru and Al having a convo when, Subaru first encountered Priscilla and all that, about finding out about this, but obviously it's been restructured to be put into this, which gets into the main crux of the issue, that this massive revelation, this detail, is been given in a Breaktime short that most of the community is not going to watch. And I'm going to say this, and no matter how I say this, is going to upset people and say that it's spoilers or whatever, but it's apparent it's important. Al is from Subaru's world. There's no way Tape-sensei, the author of ReZero, would introduce a plot point like that, and that is not important in some way to Subaru's growth as a character. Even if it isn't a massive, plot point for, a story arc, it's a massive plot point for Subaru's character and him being able to interact with someone that knows what he's going through in terms of how the world is so different from his original world with fantasy and elves and all this. It's going to be fundamentally different. The conversations that Subaru can have with Al, it opens up so many doors. So you can see where this is important. So the fact that this revelation was revealed in a Breaktime is honestly a massive L. I'm gonna be honest, I'm glad it's added, don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's added, but this is a massive, massive freaking L for the ReZero anime series, the fact that this was revealed in Breaktime instead of the official ReZero Season 3. There are so many moments it could have been added in, even in passing, maybe every flashback or something, but no. But now that this has happened, we're probably going to see in Season 3, Al and Subaru interacting in Season 3, and Subaru's already aware that he's from, Japan. He'll be aware of it, and fans are going to be like, huh, when did this happen? Am I misremembering all that type of stuff? You're going to have people wondering that. So, this is a massive L. This is one of the biggest L's I think the ReZero anime has ever taken, and that's sad. I mean, once again, I'm glad the content's added. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad it's here. But why is it in a short-form series that isn't even officially translated? It's not even picked up. Even if you want to disregard that's in a Breaktime short-form anime, okay? You want to disregard that, it's not even officially picked up. So you can't even legally watch this. And even if you wanted to illegally watch it, you would have to wait on a fan group to translate the said content. So that says enough. So, wild. Absolutely wild stuff today. I did not expect this type of revelation, and this is for the web novel readers. I'm just gonna play it, and I'm not gonna really comment too much more than that. Wild. Absolutely wild. That's a wild thing. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow for ReZero Day, because people are going to be down bad for the Sin of Lust. Can't wait to see how people react to that. Anyways, be safe, stay healthy, and I love you guys. Chibi out.